This is Betty.
Sue's, oh, because you're
We are live.
masquerading as Sue.
Yes, I was just telling
We're
We
just
Deborah
went
that,
funny.
live on YouTube, you guys.
yeah, I was just telling Deborah that for some reason it defaulted to Susan's name. So we'll have to figure that out later.
Hey, Rachel, we see you there on the chat. Sorry you couldn't join us on the Zoom side. We just have a couple of people here today, so hopefully some more will pop in and join us. So if you're just coming across this stream and you're wondering what the heck is going on here, we are here to celebrate the 21-day meditation challenge. It was our fourth official group round, and because we're now in the fourth dimension, the depth of this experience was just beyond expectations phenomenal. So we decided we wanted to come together as a group to celebrate because we have all moved up significantly on our spiritual journey, on our vibrational frequency. And I would love for the people who were part of this wonderful experience to share their insights, ahas, and what has changed in your life since you began even this round, or if you've done several rounds, where has it changed since the very beginning? Because some of us have been on this journey together for several years now, and it's been quite phenomenal. So with that, I'm going to shut up and let you guys talk. So who wants to go first?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
I guess hadn't unmuted myself, so I'm okay. Um, I was totally new to anything metaphysical or esoteric when I did that first round. I think I'd only been looking at some of the oh, I don't know what to call it. Like we've been looking at tarot readers and studying the law of one, and I had not ever done any kind of meditation or anything at all, really, until I met this group um, through Debra's Zooms earlier, like maybe in the winter that year of 2021. And so it was just new to me. And now after 3 years, I just feel like I have a grip on life in a different way than I had before. Like before, people's predictions of what was going to happen in the future and looking at climate change and looking at all the strife and the things that we were going through with political things just scared me. It was like, what's the future going to be like for my grandchildren and that kind of thing. And I just have such a sense of peace about it now that I didn't have before. And just knowing that I can calm myself, and whether I get a message in meditation or not, it doesn't matter. It's just that being calm and taking whatever comes my way. And I, there's not a lot that ruffles my feathers anymore. There are a few things, however, not a lot. So,
Well, nobody's asking for perfection, but
right.
it's so amazing. And it often reminds me of the verse in the Bible that talks about the peace that passes understanding.
Yes.
Yeah, now we know what it means. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just words on the page. It's
Right.
that depth
Right.
of
Mm-hmm.
faith, trust, calmness, knowing everything really will work out all right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest gift we got. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
How has it changed your relationship with your granddaughter?
Well, Liza came during, like, she's only 2. So I had already been meditating and she's my first grandchild. So I don't really know how much it's changed, but something that's interesting that happened the other day. Um, Her daddy's been sick, and I've never done anything related to Reiki or anything in front of her. She's watched Frozen, and so she knows that, you know, Elsa has this power to do things. But Ash told me she put her hand out in front of her daddy's face and said, I heal you. So I just thought that was interesting. So I played with her yesterday and I didn't really call it anything. I just said, let's make some balls. And we rubbed our hands together and, you know, so I don't know where that will go. Her mom will probably freak out if she catches me doing it, but I don't care. So,
That is so awesome. And
yeah.
her perspective as a young girl and young woman is going to be totally different because of that influence that you brought into her life.
And she's just, I think she's already a little light worker. I mean, just as I watch her interactions with her friends and with her parents and with us, um, she's very tuned into people's feelings and she's very gentle until she gets excited. And then she's not so gentle, but she's still loving. So she's fun to watch that way.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Rachel's coming on to join us here too. Awesome, because she was on the other side. So, Betty, would you like to share?
I guess for me, if I had a word to describe it, I would say mind blowing. Because if somebody told me 5 years ago I would be this spiritually involved, I would have looked at it, like they had three eyeballs, because it never occurred to me that I would be pursuing spirituality. And when I started meditating with the first round, I discovered I had gifts such as clairvoyance and had all these relatives come through, and friends, etc. And it just is mind blowing. Yeah, I've learned a lot in the last 4 years. And I am fortunate enough that my spouse is also going on her spiritual journey with me. Not that that necessarily has to happen, but it's nice to have someone to do that together. And she actually found you, Deborah, and that's how I got introduced to you. And the whole thing started, and here we are, 4 meditations later, and I've loved it, all of it. And my gifts have certainly grown. I do have some clairaudient and clairsentient, but I would say the strongest is my clairvoyance. It just blows me away what I see, what I experience. And, finding out about your guides and angels, and you have been, as well as Jennifer has been a big help. Deborah, or Susan rather, Cliff Silva, they've all been a big help with this. And I'm just very grateful to have found you guys and have, I feel like we're all like a little family here. We're very supportive of each other. And it just blows my mind what experiences I've had, including helping crossing over some people that was just mind blowing in itself. I never in my wildest dreams thought I could be helping somebody cross over. And it just, I think that's probably, if I had to, that's one of my greatest experiences, is to be able to cross over, including children. It was just mind blowing for me. I crossed over a little boy last year, and a couple years ago, we had a little girl visit our home, and we found out that she lived in this neighborhood back in the 70s, and she had passed away. She was probably about 8 years old. And from what I understand, her parents were abusive. And the reason why she was stuck in the astral realm was because she was afraid to see her parents. So a medium had helped me cross her over, and we sent her over on a unicorn. And I just was just, that just melted my heart to be able to. I wasn't, we weren't living here back then. You figured the 70s, that was 50 years ago. But she came to visit my partner, and she was looking for her ball. And we're like, so we decided to look into it, and we were told that this little girl, grew up in this neighborhood and is just roaming the astral realm. And, like I said, she was afraid to cross over, for fear of seeing her parents. So we had to reassure her she would not see anybody she didn't want to see. And then we sent her on her way, like I said, on a unicorn. So that just melted my heart. So
That's beautiful. Now, did that happen before you started meditating?
yes, this was just before.
So
And like I
that's where
said,
the inspiration came from.
yeah, I had
Going
it.
to ask
I
you
did have assistance from a medium. Actually, it was Medium Kim, who's on YouTube. I
Yeah,
had a reading with her, and I asked her about this little girl, and she, confirmed everything. And then she helped. She goes, "I'm going to have you help me cross her over, and let's send her on a unicorn." So yeah, maybe that was the first, and then, of course, the rest is history.
I
Here
was
we are.
curious because it's not the norm for somebody to start out meditating and all of a sudden see all these spirits because you've had so many experiences.
Yeah, I
And to
just, like I
also,
said, it's mind blowing.
yeah. But
And
also I wondered what led you to even think, because you saw the spirit, that you were supposed to cross them over. Not
yeah,
everybody would come to that conclusion. So that's the missing piece of the story.
well, I did have at one time, real quick, because I don't want to take up all the time, but about 2 years ago, I had lost, in 2022, there were 26 people that I knew that had passed away or knew in the past. Two of them, one was a previous boyfriend back in the 70s, and one was with a gentleman I went to the prom with. And I woke up one morning hearing, "You know me, why aren't you listening? Why can't you hear me?" And I was very puzzled about that. But with Jennifer's help, I realized that the gentleman I went to the prom with, he had passed away. And I put two and two together. And she confirmed that. But she said that when she came to me and I didn't know what to do, or I didn't know who it was, he went to her and she helped cross him over. But that night, without knowing that, I thought, well, let me try and cross John over. Well, I did cross someone over, but I don't know who he was. It wasn't John, but I did cross somebody else over. Because what I saw a male in a hoodie.
Uh-huh.
He was a silhouette, and in the background was a cave with the opening, and there was a bright light. So I kept telling him, "Go towards the light, go towards the light," and he did. He went into the light. So no, I've not had many of those experiences, but I welcome any that anybody I can help. I would certainly try to help them. So
That's beautiful. So you found a whole new dimensional purpose.
I did.
Yeah.
I also did do intention settings, and those are fascinating because I don't normally see in color, but with the intention settings, the colors come out. Like I'll see the Metatron's cube and it'll crystallize, or I'll see an energy ball that could be red, or usually it's red or orange. So those are quite fascinating too. So again, one word, mind blowing, because I
Yes.
would have never, ever thought in my wildest dreams that here I am 4 years later doing what I'm doing. So
That's
very, very, very blessed to have those gifts.
yeah, thank you. So
You're
we'll
welcome.
probably ask you more about that a little bit later.
Sure.
So, Rachel, you were able to pop in here. How would you like to share?
I was struggling to get on Zoom. I didn't find the connection, and finally I got it.
Awesome. So glad you did.
Yeah. So what was the question? Because I was struggling. I didn't know what was the question.
Oh, we're just asking everybody to share what their experience was like. Anything that you want to share is perfect.
Oh, well, uh, I heard Betty talking a little bit about the history of how she got here. So I've been, since my sister passed, about 14 years ago, I've been kind of becoming more, asking more questions, looking into things. And I think I got sidetracked by, people who were talking about it that I never got anything. I really never got anything. And then, I don't want to mention, the orange guy, but, I saw some people who were predicting all sorts of things when we were really upset about, the presidency. And one time I read the comments of a person in a blog, and it says, well, you guys are wasting your time. Why don't you check Debbra Lupien? She is the real thing. So I said, oh, I like this kind of, tidbits, I just follow them sometimes, I don't know where I'm going with it, but I followed. And then I found you, with the Akashic record and Metatron. And I said, that's not for me. That's really not for me because, I grew up with one creator, always one, with no face, no no shape, nothing. It's complete abstract notion, And Metatron, it's an angel, so it's another figure. It's another body. It's another something that I can really get my head around. That's not for me. But I said I would like to read about Metatron. Who he is? What kind of an angel he is? I mean, forget about you at this point. I just wanted to figure out who is Metatron. And I read about him, I found that he is really part of all traditions, Jewish traditions. He's mentioned, in the writings many, many times, especially in the Kabbalah, and then, of course, in Christianity, in Islam, he's all over the place, The question was he always there from the beginning of creation, or was he one of those biblical figures that actually is being said that God has taken him up, elevated him up? But that's whatever it is. I don't want to get into it. So I was really impressed. And then at night I had a dream that a guy, was showing me the way to school. And I asked him his name and he said, Orb. And I said, when I woke up, I said, Orb? What kind of orb is, what is orb? So I checked that one out. Anyway, just make it short, I was interested. I got into the first challenge. I think I missed the first challenge. I got into the second challenge. This is my third. So, and slowly, I would say that I can recognize myself. I really can't, And I think in the third challenge, I finally, I would use one word, I surrendered. Because I'm so much in my brain all the time. I'm so much in my brain. My logic is really what leads me all the time. And finally, I surrendered and I just said, I'm going to allow my intuition to take over. This has not really helped me besides, making trouble for myself, checking question, making up some stuff, illusions, whatever they are, I would like to be more with my heart, with my intuition. And I'm able to definitely hear all the time things that I ask questions, my guides, and hear. And I start actually, once I surrendered, I think I really, really start seeing some things, definitely energetic fields and stuff. I mean, colors, balls of just going, bumping against, I mean, different kind of color balls bumping against others, sorts of things, but that's not that important. What's important it is that I achieved, I would say, really, I don't want to use the word serenity, because it's far from that, but I'm so calm, meditation means so much to me. And I'm just sometimes saying to myself, if it doesn't do anything, it lowers my blood pressure, that's for sure. So I just see the positive side of it. And of course, this camaraderie, the friendships, the people that are in this group, what they say and what, definitely helped me. And it's really great. I want to let it go as long as I'm here.
Have you noticed that you're more patient now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, not just patient, I'm calm, patient, open. I'm using my heart even more, rather than, my brain. No, I'm just, I like I said, I can't recognize myself, which is really great. I mean, even the trip that I'm making tomorrow, I'm just, I mean, I will be all over the place. I'll be anxious. I'll be sweating. I'll be just going out of my mind. And I just don't understand, I just like completely in faith and trust. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, you mentioned the surrender. I think that's so important for everybody because we come to that place where it's like, okay, I'm going to stop fighting with the ego. I'm
Yeah.
just going to flow into it, whatever I get, even if it's unicorns, I'm going to go with it because it's purposeful.
Mhm.
And I think we could all say that we feel like we're a different person than when we started because that's the transformation that happens.
Even recently, the thing that I mentioned about being triggered, that I spent so much time into it, why don't I see more, kind of spiritual growth, etc. This is completely bogus. I mean, come on. I mean, I just feel like whatever I get, whatever I'm entitled, it will be. And I think that attitude is really paying back. And I'm more interested in my dream world. I'm reading more books about dream. I even just ordered, believe it or not, Robert Monroe, which is the journey out of the body, because I did have one or two experiences of that I never really paid attention to it. I didn't make any big deal about it, but I definitely, he says that it does happen, when, especially in time of crisis, etc. And that's exactly what happened to me the day they notified me that my older brother passed away. I was there. I saw everything. I literally saw everything. And when I got the phone number, I knew why they called me, So, I mean, stuff like that happened many years ago that I never thought that it's that important. And in my dream world, I get a lot of stuff that throughout my life that, before they happen, I'm being told that this is what's going to happen, And I never really paid attention to it, but it's there. I mean, all these psychic abilities are there. I just need to claim them back. In other words,
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you. So, Elena, would you like to share?
Well, it's been an interesting journey for me. I've been doing this, of course, for gazillion years. But the one difference I noticed in the one this year compared to the one that we first did and then the other ones prior is something somewhere finally clicked. And I mean, I do shamanic journeys all the time. I do meditation all the time, but something finally clicked. And it could be part of because my job ended and I'm kind of like floating out there trying to figure things out. I've been asking more in-depth questions of, and what I think it was the last week of the meditation, one of the things Spirit had come in and said was, forget about who you think you are, forget about what you think you know, and then go back to childhood when you were still in touch with the soul without all the beliefs and attitudes and everything that everybody tries to dump on you, and tap into that energy, because that is where it's going to tell you what you really came here to do, who you really are. And they added another name than what the other ones they've given me, and that kind of shocked me. And I was like, wow, okay, this is kind of cool. So it added another little piece to the puzzle. And I asked how by integrating that would change things. So then I've been paying attention, and I noticed all of a sudden things that I've been trying to do for years, because I've been working on several books. One of them is redoing my power animal books so I can get the videos redone and get the workshop up and running again. And I was working with my business coach the other day, and I was showing her, oh, I think I threw them away already, how long ago I printed out all this research. And she goes, and she's looking at the date, and she goes, does that say 2001? I said, yeah. That is how long I have put my life on hold and to move forward. And all of a sudden, I finished typing all of the stuff in that I wanted to type in last night. Now I just have to integrate the other stuff that I already had with the new stuff and get this process up and running, get this workbook done. And Spirit's like, now, because you're freeing up that energy that's been stuck for so long, now other information is coming through, and there's a possibility that I might be moving sooner than when my lease expires, which I was like, okay, that's a little fearful, but we'll just sit with it and go with it and see what happens. But they keep showing me, no, they told me last night and the night before, when they say spring ahead, because spring is coming, we mean literally you will be springing ahead. And I was like, oh boy. So it's going to be interesting on how it really looks and what happens. But I'm trusting more in what I'm seeing and hearing.
Yeah. Well, that's something that a lot of people have talked about, the rapid acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hold on to your hat, baby, because here we go, races.
Yeah. And,
So
they were telling me, because I'm one of those, I'm very, even though I'm right-brained, I can be very stubborn,
yes.
not that you would know that. But I've always been one that sticks to the rules. And I always say, I have a lease. I can't break the lease. And they're like, we can, and we are. So when we tell you it's time for you to spring ahead, so they literally had me go out yesterday and pull a bunch of boxes out of my storage shed here and start putting them together and start packing things up. So I've already even started taking stuff off the walls, because they said, when we tell you to go, you need to go.
That's
And
exciting.
for me, that's a scary feeling, because I've always been one that, but I have a lease. And they're like, no, actually you don't. They broke it by trying to extort more money from me than what I owe. They're like, so
on a spiritual level and on a physical level, they broke your lease. And so then I said, were you guys behind that? And they said, of course.
That's
So,
the magic that can happen.
yep.
But I think for you, it's also the combination of the fourth dimension added that jet fuel to what you've been struggling with to blow out that block.
Yeah.
So we're all here at the right time answering the call, which is so beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's like, it means leaving Arizona again, and I'm way okay with that because it's like, it's gotten too expensive to live here, and I love being outdoors. That's my connection as a shaman, is to be able to go outdoors and sit outdoors, meditate outdoors, and I can't do that here.
Well, we are looking forward to hearing your updates. Thank you.
Well, I have one coming tomorrow because tomorrow is my new thing that I'm going to be starting that I kind of hinted at last week. So on my business page and my group, and I'll probably even put it on YouTube, I'm going to start something new, and it's all about power animals, but it's going to start tomorrow.
That is fabulous. So excited to see that. Thank you. So
Yeah.
Debbie, would you like to share? Is Debbie frozen? Oh, maybe she's frozen. Okay, we'll come back to you, Debbie. How about you, Judy? Would you like to share? You're muted.
Okay, there we go. There's
Yeah.
so much to share, and there's so much beauty in your individual stories, and your unique gifts, and the guidance that is so specific to each one of us. It blows my mind. There have been times that I've thought, I'm not in the flow as much as I want to be, but I'm still just gonna sit down, do meditation, and see what comes. And then what comes is it just blows my mind that it's so accessible, that all we have to do is set the intent, and tune into it, and be there and listen. Even as I'm writing it down, sometimes it's just it's so incredible and so beautiful, that I'm so grateful for what you have brought to us, Deborah, and to all of you, all of your unique stories. Rachel, we'll all be with you on your trip. We'll all be sending you protection and love and light. And Janie, I have to tell you that one of the most beautiful things that I have ever seen or heard was when you described your granddaughter stroking your face and saying, my child, my child. That gets so moving, that what I've gotten from all of you, and Debbie, the things that you write, and you have such a gift. And there are a lot of themes that I was aware of in this challenge. One of them is balance. Another is going deeper. That when you set the intention to go deeper, that that you can get guidance that's will allow you to fulfill your purpose in an even more meaningful way than you've been able to do that before. I also have been going back and reviewing previous entries, and there's so much there's so much there that you even forget. I mean, even if it's just been a few days previous, that sometimes I find myself overwhelmed by wanting to capture somehow all of the guidance that resonates with me, not only what I've received, but what I see in all of your posts. And in order to start somewhere, because it can be so overwhelming. There's so much. What I'm setting an intention to do is capture the intentions that are most important to me, and how I can convert those into a daily practice that incorporates those things that are most important to me. Healing for Gaia, sending out light and love for souls that are troubled, that need light, that need hope. So that's where I'm starting, and I'm sure it will branch from there. But I'm just in awe of how much I've learned. Another thing that I mean, I knew this before, and I'd done the vital force energy meditations a number of times, but regular infusions of vital force energy are so critical that I find myself like checking throughout the day to see what my gauge reads. And if I'm low, then I need to take time and just allow the life force energy to flow. And the flow has been another theme of this challenge that I'm taking forward with me. And that is to not, stay in the flow. I knew that, to always keep moving. And I've gotten an image several times of stillness and being aware that there's flow even in stillness. There are a number of dichotomies that reflecting on those is really valuable to me. But I like that image of the stillness that we enter when we meditate and when we enter the records. And yet there is flow and movement in that stillness, in the connection, in bringing the connection down and allowing the flow wherever it leads us. And as a couple of you have said, we don't know sometimes where that's going to lead, but I'm so deeply grateful for the growth that I can feel in myself, and I see it, in all of you as well. That I'm truly, truly a different person than I was even before this most recent challenge. That I'm more patient with myself. I'm kinder to myself. And that's big. It's been big.
Huge.
For me. And I'm just really grateful for that. I don't want to go on and on, but even when I sat down to look at, prepare for being together today, and looking back through the guidance from this particular challenge, I have a couple pages of notes just, that, came very quickly. And there's just so much richness there. That all we have to do is find the way that's right for us to mine that, and then be able to use that in service to others and to ourselves. I think I already mentioned that balance has been a big theme for me, and balancing what I need to do to keep the life force energy flowing and to feed my own soul with my desire for service and taking care of other people, family. That's been big. And I don't know that we ever get there totally, but I think being aware of it and striving toward that balance, again, the flow, allowing the flow and making corrections where we need to has brought a peace to my soul that I can't say I've experienced before. So thank you, all of you. Bless you.
Thank you. It's interesting. Metatron's been talking about flow for several years now, but I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, it was kind of like, yeah, that's an abstract concept. It's really hard to bring it into the granular level and embody it. But this time especially, it just feels like it clicked. And now flow is as natural as breathing. And we're not questioning anymore. We know intrinsically what it is.
And I found that true for a number of concepts, that with this challenge, even though I knew intellectually and I was familiar with them and I knew the guidance, it just seemed like everything, the puzzle pieces just kind of morphed together. And that's another thing that I was really struck by, is that I'm used to anything that that brings results takes a lot of effort. You've got to apply your effort, and there's so many times and so many parts of this challenge that a big part of it for me, it has been trusting and allowing it to happen, not certainly not forcing, not having to even manage it, but allowing it to happen. And that's true for something that's been big for me, is that I've been getting a lot of guidance about, like, letting go of the sludge, the spiritual sludge that's accumulated, whether it's past trauma or whatever, even things that we don't comprehend sometimes, I think. And so that's one of the things that I make part of my daily practice, and I do to an extent, but I want to be more intentional about it, is allowing for release of what we need to let go of, to allow more space for light and more inspired ideas that then we can use. So there's just so much insight from this challenge that I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, it's a little mind-boggling to think about what it might be next time.
Mm-hmm.
Where can we go from here? Because this is pretty phenomenal. Thank you, Judy. Debbie, are you available to share now?
Let's see. I switched from my laptop. Can you see me, hear me? Am I
Yes.
frozen?
No,
Okay.
we see you fine. Hear you good.
Yeah, I had to go back to my phone. I can't type on here, but I mean, I can, but not while I'm on a Zoom. I am blown away by everything that's happened during this last challenge. And I have no idea why. I mean, it's almost like surrender and balance and camaraderie and summing it all up, everybody has been so influential together. The community and the circling and the gathering has been palpable between all of us. And it's like, I meditate and do things alone, but when we did it together for 21 days and held each other accountable, almost not accountable in a negative way, but accountable in a positive way, because we lifted each other up. And so I felt like I went deeper when I listened to what other people said as well. And so the puzzles, the pieces just all kind of merged together and went, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, wow. And then other people would have experiences that were similar to mine and to each other. And it was just like, wow, how are we doing all of this? We're all getting similar input, downloads, messages. We're going through similar experiences. And then it would just drift out of me. My writing skills have just been blowing me away. I didn't expect that. And so I'm really grateful for the 21-day experience. And I'm looking forward to the next one as well. It's interesting. I'm writing an article I haven't written for a couple of days, and I think that's okay. life got in the way. I needed to do some other things. But my article for today, or story for today, is on balance, of all things, balance, right? And balance in life and balance on getting my balance back. I've been a little off balance, and so I'm using this balance rider, and I have a picture of it. But I think sometimes those 21 days become so important that we get tired at the end. At least I did. I was tired and I needed to do some self-care. I needed to find balance again, and that's okay. So, and then I wanted to say something. Janny, your story was phenomenal about your little granddaughter. Yes, I love it that you're making balls with her. I love it that she is healing her dad. It brings back memories of when I was a little girl and I used to do that, and I didn't have anybody to share that with. I just did it with the horses, and I learned how to do it without any support. And so I'm tearing up, happy tears for your granddaughter, that she has you to support her little gifts, and so she doesn't forget them. And I did that with my children as well, because I didn't want them to forget their gifts. And I think that's an important message for all of us, that if we have little ones in our lives who, you don't force it, but who are curious, encourage that curiosity. So I just wanted to make sure I said that. Anyway, I don't remember all of my meditations. I have to go back and reread them, because interestingly, they aren't of me. And that's been something all my life. I don't always remember what messages I have unless I write them down and take notes quickly. So anyway,
And
thank
even
you,
when you
Deborah,
write,
for this.
thank you.
Go
But
ahead.
even when you write them down, we just had this conversation, yesterday? This post showed up from a year ago, and it's like, oh, there's so much wisdom in this post, and how did I miss it? You didn't miss it. You saw it the first time, but you only took what you were able at that time to take.
Mhm,
And now you're in
mhm,
a different place.
mhm,
It's just like those messages I post daily from Metatron. Those are the same messages for 4 rounds. But I tweak them a little bit each time to edit them because they get better and better. But it's essentially the same message. But it
mhm,
hits us different because we're in a different place.
mhm.
That's the
Exactly.
magic and wonder. Would you mind sharing about the reason you were nervous about writing?
Oh, the reason that I was nervous about writing. Well, there's several reasons, but one, I'm dyslexic. Is that the one you're referring
Yeah,
to?
that's what I
Is
was referring to.
that I'm
Because
dyslexic?
because you can't tell that. It doesn't show.
Thank you. I think the timing is perfect because I do have a computer that can check my spelling. And I think the grammar too. Sometimes my grammar gets a little goofy. Um, and I have to go back and look at it from a thinking side of my brain instead of just my intuitive or spiritual side of my brain. So I have to write from my heart, but then I have to go back and edit from my thinking side of my brain and still stay connected to my heart. So sometimes it takes being really centered to do that. But yeah, I'm dyslexic. I I mix up letters and I mix up numbers and I um, write backwards to forwards, if that makes sense. Like when I'm telling a story, it comes out backwards and sometimes I have to reset it so it flows correctly. Yeah, being dyslexic is actually a gift. I am not uh, insecure about it. Nervous is probably the right word because I wasn't sure if I had enough time. Everything takes a lot longer for me I think, or that's a belief, I don't know if it's true or not, but it takes a little bit longer for me to get it the way I like it. And I didn't have that kind of time when I was teaching because I was always writing paperwork for school and for my students. And that was a gift too, that I was able to write, but that took time. And so I didn't have time to connect to my heart during that time. Does that answer your question? So I'm really
Yeah.
grateful that I'm not working anymore.
Yeah, I just remember how much of a struggle. I remember your posts from the old days, and it was very obvious that you were dyslexic. Now,
Mhm.
reading your work, not a trace of it, and I'm marveling at that. That's a massive transformation. And I do think it's a limiting belief that it takes longer for you.
Mm. Maybe. I
I
don't
think
know.
your
We'll
angels
see.
can help you with that, and it will keep getting better.
And my angels really do. And maybe that is where I need to give gratitude to, because when I'm writing now, I'm trying to ponder if I've always written this way. Because when I was in college, I wrote a lot of poetry, a ton of poetry, and I still have all of those. And someday I want to be able to transpose those into writing. And so I'll add those to Medium as well. However, I think now I'm pondering here, I'm thinking, because I'm wondering if I was as connected to my spiritual part of me in the 80s, when I was in college, or if I'm more connected now, or if because I went through a career, if that caused me to go kind of get stuck, if that makes sense, during that time. I don't know. I don't know. I feel connected now on a different level. And maybe my angels and my angelic team and my spiritual guides are what gives me more confidence now. That's something to ponder. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, I have thought about it, but I haven't said it out loud with my voice. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I've written it.
yeah.
I've
And
written
I
it.
do believe they give you more confidence. I
Mhm.
used to try to be invisible.
That's also in today's article. Being invisible.
That's wonderful.
Just so you know.
Yeah,
I wrote it before.
similar threads, yes. But the
Very
other thing
interesting.
that I was thinking about, it was maybe 2 years ago, you were getting messages about being on the bumpy gravel road,
Mm-hmm.
and that was
Mm-hmm.
going on for so long. And now look at where you are. The
Oh yeah,
contrast is, I don't have a word for it.
yeah, yeah. It's magical. It's smooth, it's free, it's uninhibited. It's um I don't worry about what others think anymore. I'm just living a very magical life, and I'm content. I don't I don't know. I feel guided in every. There's been some sadness in my life, losing my best friend, losing my mom, losing my dogs, losing my heart horse. I mean, there have been some really sad moments in my life, and you can hear it in my voice, but I feel so connected to all of those souls that have crossed over. It's as if they are just surrounding me and sending me more and more energy and gifts and guidance and breadcrumbs and magic that I feel compelled to share. And I almost, the word teach comes to mind, but teaching from a completely different way than I used to teach. Teaching through and I've always taught through my heart, and I've always taught through mindfulness and calm, and people would come to my classroom because years ago for their own self calmness. Because they were so riled up. They're like, Debbie's room will be calm. And I had the most difficult students, but my room tended to be calm until last year. But because I needed to heal, and I couldn't help them when I needed to heal. And it was just my guides getting me out of teaching and helping me see that it was time to retire so I could do this. But life is good. So thank you for noticing.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's such a blessing to witness it. And for all of you, I think back to the first round we did, whether it was the first round everybody did or whenever you popped in, but the common theme for most people is, I can't meditate. I've got that monkey mind. It doesn't work. And then within days for some, weeks for other, there you are coming out with these phenomenal messages and insights and joy, shifting your energy. And it's just the most precious, miraculous thing to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody that takes time to do this has seen phenomenal results. And it's been so much fun to see the changes in everybody. So thank you for listening to Metatron and writing this book so many years ago.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
We are all experiencing a deeper thought. There's no word, a deeper connection, a deeper wisdom, a deeper life because of it.
Well, I think it's in our own time, we're all answering the call.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this book, in case anybody in the group hasn't read it yet, the Little Book of Meditations, this is the book that Metatron had me write after the Path book, the 21-day meditation. And that was because, okay, you've gone through this process, and now here's a tool for you to use when you need something extra. And there are 18 angel meditations in there that are just each in their own way, so amazing, over the top, filling a gap when you need it. And the vital force energy that Judy talked about, that's in there as well. Sacred time with divine, the encounter with the star. There's just so much magic there to help continue supporting us.
Mm-hmm.
And this book hasn't got that much attention. It's really kind of been hidden almost. So I think as we come out of this round in this new state, it's time to amp up the energy and the focus on that book, because it's the tool.
Mm-hmm.
And avail yourself of it.
Deborah, could we maybe do something where we listen to those meditations? Because they're not only written, there's a link in there to the auditory that you've done that's marvelous. I wonder if we could do that once a week, or, for those of us that have it, if we listen to it, because I did during the 21-day meditation, there were several times when I would listen to one of those, and the results were amazing. So I'm wondering, I don't know, let's ponder that. Maybe we can post that to the group and come up with an idea that would get it out there more, so that people have the opportunity to listen to these and go even deeper. Just a thought I had.
I like that idea. And then we could talk about it, which gets more exposure, so people think, oh, I want to do that.
Exactly.
Because, it's such a blessing. It's a comfort, just so much all rolled up into one. And yet simple. There's a simplicity to all of the work that we're doing that is also quite amazing. So yeah, let's talk about that more. I think that's a great idea. Let me jump over to YouTube and just see the comments and share them with you guys, in case you're not watching. So Letty has been trying valiantly to get in with us on Zoom, but keeps getting kicked out. So she says how quickly the calmness flows in with just the intention of meditating. I close my eyes and the connection is instant. I love the feeling of entering into a realm of love. That is so beautiful, Letty. Thank you. And then Laura, it's so interesting that she had a similar experience of remembering who she was before she incarnated. That's phenomenal. And that is, other people have had those kinds of experiences and more, buried memories from childhood, old traumas, things that are coming up because you've reached the place where you're ready to deal with them and heal them. So the angels bring them to your attention during the meditation challenge. And that was something I had no idea was going to happen the first time we did this. And it's continued to happen in various ways each time. Another marvel. So they just keep surprising us. Let's see. Oh, Letty just says thank you. So Laura, if you can get on Zoom, please come and join us. And if you can't, just feel free to share whatever you would like to share in the comments, and then I'll share that with everybody else. So if you guys have still got a little bit of time, I wanted to ask you to go back in time to the first time you did the challenge and just describe whatever you want to share about that experience and the contrast from where you started to where you are now. So Betty, do you want to start?
I remember when I first started, I wasn't seeing much of anything. I would just lay there or sit up rather, I should say. And then little by little, I started seeing different images and what have you. And I didn't quite understand that. But as time went on, I grew to know what to connect with what. And then I just started seeing images left and right moving forward. And what I liked about what I've learned from all of this is when I wasn't sure what I saw, I would research it afterwards. And that in itself really helped me a lot. It helped me understand why I was seeing what I was seeing. So I've actually enjoyed a great bit of like doing research or looking up the angel numbers, spiritual meaning of different things. And it was quite fascinating for me. And with each meditation challenge that we've gone through, my gifts have opened even more and more. When I think back and I'm like, wow, when you first started and now things that I didn't know I could do that I can do now is just, yeah, it's amazing. So I've learned a lot.
You developed a language. That's something I noticed with you because you get these very specific symbols. So
Right.
with the research, you've now created a language. So you
Right.
just know immediately what it means.
And speaking of that, there's often times where I will see a language that I can't even make out in my meditations. And I've often wondered what that was. Like I'll see a foreign language that I can't make out, and I just thought, okay, maybe it's just not meant for me to know at the time, at this time. So, but yeah, it helped me because when I hear from relatives, certain images would come up that I can connect to that particular relative. One of my grandmothers shows me teacups because I have 3 of her antique teacups and my sister has the other 3. My other grandmother's last name is Bell, and she shows her maiden name, and she shows me a Liberty Bell. So you make those connections as you start realizing, oh, well, this is why I'm seeing this. You put that connection there, and same with other things.
What's so cool about that? You guys have probably all seen John Edward do his thing. And he will talk about that. Oh, it's a pink rose and this is what it means. He
Right.
does the same thing. And I connected the dots when I was listening to you guys with what you were coming from. It's like, oh, this is so amazing. Do you guys make the connection to what you're doing? You are on a level
Yeah.
that this guy on TV is doing in such a short time, with such joy, with such confidence. You blow me away.
It's a knowing, like when you do see something. For example, my mother passed away in October, and 50 plus years ago, I bought her a mother's ring, or a family ring, some people refer to. And a couple of weeks after she passed away, that ring appeared, and it was very clear that it was the ring that I now have. Obviously knew it was my mother's. It was a sign, from my mother, letting me know she's okay, and she was showing me the ring that she left for me, that I bought 50 years ago. So you connect the dots also, which really helps.
Yeah, it's like a game of Clue.
You get clues and you connect the dots, and you somehow have a knowing as well, like, oh, well, that's what that means, type of thing.
Yeah.
You just connect the dots. Real quick, a couple weeks ago, I got the nudge to assist with any souls that are in the astral realm. And I just got a nudge to do that, a calling, if you will. And I did that. And I just asked any souls that needed help with crossing over to, follow the light. And I even did the prayer, the Ho'oponopono prayer. Well, probably a week later, I have like a little magical dirt patch out in my backyard that normally during the summer months we do container gardening, and I'll see images. And I saw, if a few of you that are maybe familiar with Cash Peters, he does a lot of stick figures in his drawings. And not long after I did this, for lack of better words, group crossover, for the very first time ever, I walked out and I happened to look down, and there were all these stick figures in the ground, like, stick people. And I thought to myself, I wonder if that represents the people that I helped cross over, a week earlier. It just, you can connect the dots. And it was nice to get that kind of confirmation.
Yeah. What a
Never have I ever
picture.
saw like stick figures in that magical dirt patch. And I thought, now this is too coincidental. This has to be related to the people that I helped cross over a week or so before.
Yeah.
So that's how it
Coincidence.
works. For me, I'll get, light bulb will come on, or I'll know instantly. You learn how to connect the dots, basically. So.
Beautiful. Thank you. So Laura and Letty have joined us finally. So Letty, while you're here, would you like to share something with us? You got to unmute.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, first of all, Deborah, for everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You, with your teachings, with your guidance, and with the group too, I've been able to break through that fear of just letting go. And I wanted to share, because I wrote down about the flowing into and instantly getting into it. If it starts like a bubble, it's like a wave. When I close my eyes and just thinking that I'm going to meditate, I close my eyes and you feel this bloop, 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 and it starts in my heart area. And I just go right through. So I've never been able to do that. And it's just so beautiful, beautiful. The other thing that I wanted to share, because last time
was saying that I see purple and then it opens up and I see writings and it's like a scroll. Well, it finally broke through. And this time I saw, I don't know where it was, what it is, what it means yet, but I saw it's like an ancient city looking down, like in the caves or in the mountain. I don't know where it is or what it means yet, but it's getting there. So I'm finally feeling that, and the pressure on my head, on my third eye, it just feels there. It's just there. And I just wanted to thank you. Thank you so much for the comments that everybody has put when I shared too. It's just been beautiful.
And this is your
Beautiful,
first
beautiful.
time, so it's really exciting. You're getting something that in depth. Keep at
Yes, I'm doing it every day. I'm trying to get my dog Luna to sit next to me and come on, let's go to the Akashic records. Come on, but she's not paying attention yet. She's not ready for it. But there's so many things that are happening, and the feeling of it is just it's an intense feeling of love when I start meditating.
Yeah.
And it's like walking or slipping through, I don't know how to express it, but it's like walking through a wall on the other side. And then as you walk in, it sucks you in. But as it's sucks you in, you're just start feeling that love that it's just unbelievable.
It's like the air you breathe is love.
Yes.
It fills you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Well, you keep doing it and you
So,
keep sharing
I'm in-
because we're here to support you through your journey.
Thank you.
So, Laura, talk to us.
Hello, everybody. I feel bad because I didn't participate this time. I wanted to, but then
That's okay. You participated before, so
I
you have things
did.
to share.
Yeah, yeah. It's been interesting. I actually was introduced to automatic writing through Michael Sandler. I got his book like back in 21, I think. And I was did that for a couple of years, and then I found your book, and then I joined your group, and then yeah, last year I joined. That was so interesting because the very first day was January 2nd, I think, and the first thing I got was I was talking with my guides, and they were saying something about the new earth, and I remember writing, wait a minute, you mean like Gene Roddenberry? And they're like, yes. And then came this lyric thing. I was like, ooh. And then I was inspired to make it into a song. And a lot of people over the year, I shared it over the course of last year. A lot of people were really touched by it. So I was like, yay. So that was very cool. But it was funny because the year started with that wonderful opening of all this good stuff, and then the very next month, the trauma memories came up, and I'm like, now wait a minute, what is this? Oh dear. So then it became this big year of healing and cleansing and stuff. But the cool thing about that, it was interesting because Dr. Leon was talking about meeting her higher self. And it was really interesting that you mentioned your child because I'd had a vision of me as a little girl happy. But the thing about it was she was glowing and she was bubbly and vibrant and radiant and happy and joyful and so not where I was in that moment. And it made me cry. But then so I thought it was me as a little girl before all the stuff happened when I was really happy. But then the next morning I woke up and my guide said, no, 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 that's not what that was. That was you before you were born. I was like, wait, what? They're like, no, that was you. I'm like, oh, and it's true, in childhood, we're so much more connected to our higher selves than we are as we get older. And I think that's why it presented as me as a little girl to represent that connection probably.
Yeah.
But that was really exciting. Because I came up I've been taught to use these invocations, and they have been so incredibly powerful in being able to connect to my higher self and any energies that I need to connect to. So I made this invocation, maximum childlike innocence. And wow, as soon as I do it, it's like she comes back. It's like, hi. So it's been a lot of fun of practicing connecting with my higher self and healing and clearing and growing, and now it's expanded into me helping other women connect with their higher selves and heal and clear. And yeah, so I feel like I'm finally on a path that fits and makes sense and is going somewhere. But yeah, and it's interesting how you mentioned the acceleration thing, because in my mind that looked different. So I was like, well, I don't know exactly that I'm experiencing that, but now that I think about it in terms of the work I'm doing and stuff, things have really kind of accelerated. There's
You are in such a different place than you were a year ago. You were such a broken,
yes,
sad person.
yeah,
And now you've reconnected with your soul. And you
you
can put
know,
trauma behind you.
yes, yes. Okay. So over the summer, I was working with a healer, and things were getting worse and worse and worse. And I was actually ready to just leave. It was August, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. All I could see was a future of managing trauma for the rest of my lifetime on this earth. I'm like, no, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Take me home. But see, oh my gosh, that's something else they had told me in the challenge that I did last January. They said, no, I remember I wrote promises given, promises made, promises kept. And they're like, no, 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 no. We made a promise to you that you would experience. Okay, basically, I would not have to cross over into spirit to know who I am on the other side. I would get to experience it here on this side in human form. So it was like, for the first time ever, we don't have to cross over to be who we are. Does that make sense?
Yes, we're becoming our soul, not our ego. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And so that they had made that promise, and that was the thing. They're like, no, we're not letting you do this. We're not letting you give up because we made this promise to you. I'm like, fine. So what did they do? They had me sign up for an astrology session. But that led me to this guy, and he was the perfect person. He had all the right tools, everything I needed to finally be free of this. And that's what happened in that session when I connected with myself. Was I realized I'd carried this huge, deep God wound, and finally it got cleared. And then the very next week, I connected with my mom and dad at the soul level, and they let me merge and blend with their energy, which took me up to where they were at the soul level, so that I could learn who I was. Because one of my big questions was, what in the heck was my soul thinking agreeing to this life experience? Because this is no good. And in that session, I learned it. I'm like, I learned why I did it, and it wasn't to punish myself. it was to grow as a being of love. And I can honestly say now, my background is I was sex trafficked as a child, and so I had, while I was in this deep healing process last year, I had to face the things I could not have faced and lived through. It would not have been good. But with the help of this healer, we were able to face it and do it. And so to be on the other side of this, I can now say that I am no longer suffering from all of the horrible things that were done to me. I'm free because I awakened at the soul level, because I had that opportunity to connect with myself at the soul level. It just completely freed me from all of this. It doesn't mean that I'm still not healing and doing things, because something came up yesterday. I was like, oh, here we go again. But it's I'm not suffering. I can take it and work through it and heal it. And I'm fine. But yeah, I know. I asked my friends, I'm like, is this real? Have I really changed? And they're like,
Mhm.
uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
think you get to a place where you
Mhm.
understand no matter what trauma happened to the body, they didn't touch your soul.
yes. But see, that was the thing. I was like, I actually did the math of how many times I'd been assaulted. I'm like, how does a little body survive all of that? And that's what this healing modality that I was introduced to last fall finally helped me. The funny thing about that is it helped release all that stuff from the body, but it happened by connecting with my higher self. Because the thing I've learned, I have been on the spiritual healing path since I was a kid in my church. That's what we do. And I took class instruction to be a professional spiritual healer, and it never worked out. And it was very mind based. And so I was always in my head and always going out of my body to connect with spirit and to connect with God. And it wasn't until last year, I'm 53 now, that I was introduced to the idea of my higher self coming to me instead of me going to her. And I was like, oh, it was a game changer. I was like, oh. And so now I have learned a way of healing without, I don't have to think, I don't have to use any mental effort at all. It's all just energy. And my higher self comes in and does all the work. I just have to be present to the experience. That's the only part I have to play in this whole thing. And it is just, yeah, it's made it much less hard and challenging and exhausting. And so I'm just really grateful. And I'm grateful that I'm now in a place to be able to help others, because that's what I've always wanted, but I couldn't while I was so broken.
Yeah. But think about this. Somebody with your trauma in that short of a period of time to turn around, that is the magic and the marvel of this system that Metatron designed. It's so carefully constructed to lead us gently through out of the trauma into our soul purpose, into the love.
Well, that was the missing piece. This is why I had to have that astrology session. Because the missing piece I had was I thought, oh, I experienced all this so that I could help others. That wasn't actually the reason. He's like, no, because of the way my chart was looking at, he's like, no, you're here to learn how to heal this. This was like a graduate level healing challenge for me. Like, you're gonna learn how to heal all of this. And that's what I did. And I didn't think it was possible. I did not think that was possible at the human level. Well, it isn't at the human level. It's when you can use your higher self on your team. That's when you can heal this stuff. But it was like, no, I come to learn how to heal it. And now that I've learned how to heal it, now I can use what I've learned to help others learn to heal themselves too. So it's amazing how our soul and the angels and everybody works together for us to step into our purpose and clear the way for us to step into that purpose. Because a lot of stuff needed to be cleared.
And all in divine timing when you're ready.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it looks like we had a couple more people join us on the YouTube side. So Eileen is here and Adventurer. Eileen says, you've all given me the strength to keep working on my meditation and not put so much pressure on myself to see or hear something. It will come in time. Yeah, and if you go back and listen to the beginning, Eileen, you'll get even more of that reassurance. And Adventurer, you were asking a question. We're not doing questions today. This is a celebration of completing the 21-day meditation challenge. So if you've done the challenge and you have experiences you'd like to share, please, put them in the chat so that I can share them with everyone. So, did you have something else, Laura?
Yeah, if I may, the seeing thing. I want people to know that clairvoyance is not my strongest gift. My strongest is actually clairsentience, and then clairaudience, and then cognizance. So for me, it's a knowing, it's a sensing, and it's a hearing. And I, for a long time, I thought I couldn't do this, and I wasn't a medium because I couldn't see anything. I actually help souls cross over into the light too, and I can't see it usually. I have to focus on hearing and sensing, because the sight just isn't there for me. So I want people to understand, not always will you be channeling or connecting using sight, and that does not mean you're not doing it. You are. It's different senses that you're using to tap into. So that's why when I work with people, I say, hey, are you tasting anything? Are you smelling anything? Are you feeling anything? Because those are the three that we don't really think about. But that's how some of us are wired to perceive energy. So just wanted to put that out there to those who are listening.
Yeah. No, all of our gifts are different, but the really cool thing is that the longer you do this, the more the gifts will expand. Because I didn't used to get the sentience, and now that comes in so strong. And when I'm channeling sometimes, I marvel at, I don't know where I stop and Metatron begins. We've just blended. It's, it's, I don't even know how to describe that. It's mind blowing. So that can happen for everybody too. So we've still got a little bit of time. Anybody else have anything else you want to share? Yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you asked what was the change from the beginning, the first, challenge to this one. I would say that, as I expressed before, I was so doubtful, that I'm going to get anywhere in the first challenge, and I really did not see anything in meditation, but I was persistent and I was just like very, very stubborn. And it's changed in time, just like Laura is saying, you get, I mean, there was a little bit of the knowing of hearing, in your mind, but it really changed and enlarged, and I feel very, very grateful. But I wanted to add, because I really need to leave. I'm packing and I'm so busy. But I just wanted to say that I got an assignment from Metatron through Susan and Jennifer to actually, they gave me a symbol that I would have to seed it into the earth, while I'm in Israel. So I understand that this is really to bring, peace and etc. And I understand that you can do it while you're there rather than from here. So I'm really grateful that I got this, assignment. I'm looking at it very fondly and seriously. And I just want to say to everybody, see you later.
Thanks for spending some time with us. I know your time is short.
Yeah.
Much love and have a fabulous trip.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
send
you.
you love and light to add to that symbol that you're seating in.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I'm
Bye-bye.
Rachel.
Bye, Rachel.
Bye.
So anybody else? Don't be shy. Anything that popped up for you while we were talking? Judy, you got something?
I just wanted to say that I was late to the party today and I may have missed an explanation, but Betty, I didn't figure out that was you until you were talking about the symbols. So I apologize for that, but I have learned so much from your posts, from your support,
you.
and I just wanted to say I'm sorry that I didn't recognize you sooner.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I didn't expect that either. It's a thing I guess we have to go in and correct in the what do you call it? The cloud cloud something. I have to go in and fix it. Yeah. I'm technically challenged, so but yeah, it's Betty in the flesh. So
That's
just have to next time put my actual name in it. Didn't even think about that. So but thank you, Judy. Thank you.
When you talked about the symbols, for your from your grandmothers and crossing people over, and I thought, wait a minute, that sounds like Betty Sherry, and then I heard Debbra, called you Betty. So
I'll definitely get that fixed. I'll definitely get. I had no clue, and I am technically challenged when it comes to Zooms. This is probably my third Zoom that I've done, and for me, that's saying something. So next time I'll be better prepared. So
we're just glad that you're here.
But thank you though. Thank you very much.
I include all of you in my prayers every day. So it's just so neat to see you in the flesh. And continued prayers for Susan Cox. I haven't seen any updates recently, but just send her light and love and lots of healing energy.
I can give you guys a little bit of an update on Susan.
Thank you.
And I have to say, in this round, I've missed her.
Yes.
I have really,
me too.
Yes, I have too.
Missed her. Rachel was able to talk to her on the phone the other day. I keep trying to reach her, and I think I must be, like I'm 2 hours different in time zones with her. And I think I'm probably hitting her when she's off at therapy or something. But she's going to be in the hospital in the same room that she's been in until the 16th of February. And then they're moving her into a rehab center somewhere. And she'll be there probably into the early part of the summer.
Okay.
And the cancer that they found was a stage 2 colon cancer, I assume. And apparently since I haven't talked to her and I haven't actually been able to, like, nobody's been able to get details, but my assumption is that when they removed the mass, that they felt like they got all the margins and they're not going to do chemotherapy or anything. And that's not fact. That's me taking what I know about cancer journeys and,
Mhm.
kind of thing. So, but I think this, she's still really recovering from that stroke and regaining mobility and stuff like that. And I don't know details about that either. And I think the other thing we need to kind of think about, send her love and light for, the last I knew, her physical living situation was kind of icky for her.
Mhm.
And I don't know if they've been able to rectify that for her while she's been in the hospital, or if she's going to go back into that.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, me too,
So
Betty.
too. Thank you for sharing that, because we can, we can send light and ask for healing for
her
specific.
and to that living situation. And it could be that she won't be going back home. I just don't know. I keep calling and hoping that I'll actually land on an answer from her
If
end.
it'll help, I was told Rachel had suggested to attempt to call her at 4 or after Eastern time, because during the day she's in several different types of therapies, occupational, physical therapy, to name 2 of them. Because like you, Janny, anytime I just didn't have any luck. I talked to her once early on.
Yeah, once early on,
weak.
like for less than a minute. I just called
Right.
to say, Susan, this is Janny. I love you.
Yes.
I know that you're not doing well, and take care of yourself. That was it.
I did basically the same thing.
Yeah,
Haven't
yeah.
spoken to her
And I'm
since.
going to try this weekend, because I don't like, hospitals don't tend to do a lot of therapy on the
Yeah.
weekend.
Right.
Not I from my understanding, I in my experience, that's been the way that, unless you absolutely need something, then
Right.
they take a break over the weekend. So but yeah, if we could try, like, I know you're 2 hours behind
Okay.
us on the East Coast. Anytime after 4, hopefully you'll get lucky. And I'm hoping to be able to do that myself, coming up here soon. Just to say hi to her and talk to her.
She always had animals come to her, and we referred to them as
Right.
spiritual zoo.
Well, I love her. I love the fact that she would post that spiritual DJ.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that. I just love that.
Yes. And I miss all of that so much.
I do
and
too.
miss her. So this update helps a lot. I didn't
Good.
know any of this. So thank you so much for that.
Well, if I do reach her, or Janny, if you reach her, we can certainly let everybody know what we, whichever one of us gets to her first. Hopefully one of us will, and we can go ahead. I know the last time she didn't mind us, out of respect, I wanted to ask her, well, can I share that I spoke to you? But of course, that was in the beginning. Jenny, you were saying how weak she was. And I said, do you mind if I let the others know? And she said she didn't, but I thought, well, let's wait until
she's a little more aware.
I decided I better wait, but I can certainly, out of respect, ask her again, or if you speak to her first.
Yeah.
One of us can let you know. I think Rachel wanted, with Rachel being gone, she wanted to see if maybe some of us can attempt to reach her. Yeah. But when Rachel did talk to her, she said she was more upbeat
Mhm.
from what I understand. And I believe that was earlier this week or maybe even last weekend. So that was very encouraging.
That's
I
great.
hope she feels all the love that's being sent to her.
I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
She has to. There's so much of it.
Yes, yes.
Right, right.
Just a quick question. Does she not have any like family that can be with her when she's in the hospital or visit her? Do you know? Or I don't want to ask too much.
No, I understand.
But I've just
I
been
don't
concerned
have
about her
a
being
sister
alone.
that she does. She has a sister that lives, I think, in Connecticut.
Mhm.
And initially, Susan Cliff Silva was getting, what had happened was that Susan Cox had been doing work with Susan Cliff Silva. And she asked her sister to get in touch with Susan Cliff Silva. And then her sister discovered that she had this virtual support system.
Mhm.
And so she, for a while, her sister was sending Susan Cliff Silva information and we'd get it through Susan. But last time I talked to Susan Cliff Silva, she'd gotten information from Rachel. So, and I'm guessing, I just don't know how much her sister goes to be with her
Mhm.
because they'll say she talked to the nurses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I picked up on that. Well,
I didn't even know she
Well-
had a sister.
Yeah.
I knew she had brothers, but I didn't know she had a sister.
Thank you all for your love and your support. And let's just send out to her a big angel cloud that she can relax on that will just fill her with love and healing energy.
yes.
She needs to relax and rejuvenate.
Deborah, I can't tell you how much I just appreciate you.
Yes,
Well, thank
me
you.
too.
Yes.
I mean, we wouldn't, without you, we wouldn't be here.
No, we wouldn't.
Fact.
I'm just grateful every day that you all showed up
It's the truth.
because you bring so much joy and dimension to my life.
Thank you.
And
You
I
do for
that's
us.
palpable. I feel that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
Well, we're all here doing what feeds our soul. What could be better than that?
Yeah.
And supporting one another in it. Because, oh my gosh, God help us if we had to do it alone.
Mhm.
I often joked and still do joke that I'm a late bloomer, baby boomer. Everything comes late with me.
Yeah.
And of course, this too. I mean, 4 years ago, all of a sudden, I'm becoming spiritual and one thing led to another. But yeah, it's just, I often joke about being a late bloomer, baby boomer, because everything, does wind up happening late with me. And that's okay too. But yeah, it still blows my mind when I think back. And I think you've all had that experience with various things. Who would ever thought that now you're doing what you're doing, So it's awesome. It really is.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't part of the
Now you're
plan.
blooming.
yeah,
And I feel such a soul
If I
connection.
may say, nothing is late, nothing comes late, nothing comes
yes,
early. Everything is at the right time, except time that it has to
exactly,
happen.
exactly. And I think back too that 5 years ago, or even, well, I've been retired for 7 years now. Maybe it was meant that this happened after I retired because of, working. I've worked for 45 years and the jobs I had weren't your nine. It was, not your 9 to 5, not the kind of work I did. I don't know that there would have been, I don't want to say time for it, but maybe it wasn't time to be brought into it because I would have not been able to vote or even recognize what was actually happening. So I agree with you. I do. It happens when it's supposed to happen. So, and it's great, just getting to know all of you. It really does mean a lot to me to have this family, and that's the best part is getting to know everybody and having everybody's support because you don't have many to talk to on the outside. Not everybody is prepared to hear, you know,
Mhm.
they'll look at you and say, okay, some are, but not everybody's ready for that. So it's just been such a big help for me to have you for support and to know that you're not alone.
And
Amen.
who else can you talk to about angels, unicorns, and mermaids?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Yes. Linda is on the YouTube side and she says, congratulations to all. Thank you for your wonderful stories and inspirational moments. Blessings. Thank you, Linda. So glad.
thank you, Linda. Thank you.
So before we call this a wrap, anybody else have anything they want to share?
I remember my first 21-day challenge that the whales kept showing up and taking me down into the water, and in how I thought that was so odd because uh, I mean, I love dolphins and whales and things, but I live in the Midwest and we don't really see whales here. And so for me to experience swimming with whales was quite phenomenal. So I just wanted to share that. And then this time now the magic glass has been showing me whales and seals and unicorns and horses. And I agree with you, Betty. This group, who else do we talk to? And now we're telling everybody, right?
Yeah.
The whole world can see us, which is great.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so many people that have had these experiences and don't know where to go. And so I'm hoping that people listen to us and go, oh, well, that's my tribe.
Yes.
I belong with them.
Yes.
And that they don't feel odd or strange anymore or aren't judged
Right.
for being spiritual and for having wisdom and for following that. And I think because there are so many of us that are on this journey together, we all are able to experience a calm that maybe we didn't experience before. And I think that's a good thing. For those that follow us, for those that join us, for those that listen. Going on this journey, I think we've all become calmer, more joyful, happier, and at peace with what's going on in our lives. So thank you for
And really, not
what,
only,
Jan?
I was going to say, not only what's going on in our personal lives, but there's a lot going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
It feels like it's being lifted up and just shaken between all of the, natural events that are happening and all of the war and just everything. And it's like, I feel calm within myself about what my own personal world is happening, but I also feel calm about what's going on this planet because I know that it's coming into something new and that this is necessary for something new. And without this experience that we've had together, I would be cowering somewhere.
I feel exactly the same way that what you just said. Because I'm being more, like they say, stop and smell the roses, take the time to look.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I see that I'm starting to noticing in the world, in the way that somebody looks, their eyes, and you're saying, what is going on in there? It's something totally different. That it's just absolutely, it's the world upside down. The world seems to be upside down, that common sense it's not there anymore in certain people. And before I used to be afraid of that. And it's like, what's going to happen? The world is going to end. And, and now, no, I know that there's a purpose for everything, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. And it's funny because you're saying you can't talk to a lot of people, and that's what I thought about, and more people in friends and relatives that are more open of things that have happened in their lives, and they're starting to see, or like in a way they're awakened, they're awakening, and it is just incredible. I mean, it just happened because this thing I would never talk with my brother about, because it was like he would say, no, you're nuts. But now it's like we start talking, and I said, when did you start experiencing this? So that's where I'm at, and it's like, it's incredible. It's incredible. And I'm noticing the hidden messages in movies.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, but those hidden messages in the movies. I was watching one day, and all of a sudden I see somebody doing what is it called? That they're trying to heal their families. I can't think of the name. And it's like, oh, that is incredible. So I'm noticing those hidden messages that before I wouldn't even pay attention. It's just a movie.
Yeah.
It's just a movie, and there's a lot more things being said to us through the movies.
Everywhere.
I
Messages
don't
come
know.
at us.
That's
from
what I
everywhere.
feel. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Millicent just posted on the YouTube side that she's tried the challenge twice and she's not been able to get anywhere. So she's really happy to hear the stories. She's done a lot of healing and releasing, and she's going to try again. So yes, please join us in the group, Millicent. It will help you to have this support, and it makes all the difference in the world versus doing it on your own. So please join us. And for anybody who's listening to this recording, this is an oasis where you can come, be supported, feel the love, build your confidence, and come to that place of peace that passes understanding, which we all need so badly right now, as the world seems to be going crazy around us. So that's what we are. We're this amazing little oasis. And I thank you all for being here. I'm going to have to run. Is there anything else anybody wants to add before we sign off? Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here. I
Thank
deeply
you.
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Blessings to all of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
sending you off with
Yes.
love and light.
Mhm.
Hey.
Thank you. Bye.